Hello, everyone, and welcome to the newest edition of Board Meeting Recap with Chris Adsit. Now, today I'm giving you the summary notes from the Hartland Lakeside School Board Meeting that took place Monday night, August 18th. Now, I am the school board president for Hartland Lakeside, so keep in mind these are only my opinions and my summary of the meeting. I do not speak for the entire board. This is just a quick recap for you. So if you can't attend in person or watch the entirety of it on our YouTube channel, you hear the highlights and what might be important to you and your family and our community from the meetings. The policy committee started off the meeting tonight with just giving us our digital device policy update. Again, no substantive change there. It was just aligning different wording and policies together. They reported on they're working on some different wellness initiatives right now. The biggest thing that I took away, I was excited about, is that targeting November, we're going to try to have all of our curriculum posted online. It's really a big step for our parents. Instead of having to call or come into the district, you can take a look at it right there. So I was excited about that. The employee handbook is being worked on. It wasn't quite ready for our review yet this month. It's a new template. It's a lot of new information in aligning policies with what we just approved, a whole slew of new policies with Neola over this last year. And it's aligning that employee handbook with all those policies. So when it's done, it's going to be great, but it's a lot of work. So that'll come next month. Then our finance committee, building and grounds as well, reported on the state of the district. And good news, financially, we're looking good. Budgets are strong. Budgets are very strong. I've got some other good news. Enrollment trends look good for our district. Hartland Lakeside has been doing some really good things. We've been a consistent high performer for years, and we are beginning to attract more students enrolling into our district than people enrolling out. So we may actually even see an uptick in enrollment this year. From a budgetary standpoint, that's really good. So we'll see what happens there. We're working on a preliminary budget right now for the next fiscal year, and that'll all come up at the next annual meeting in September, and I'll give you more details on that later. Then we went into the superintendent report. Tina, our superintendent, started off with giving us again the overview of the portrait of a graduate and how that's going to be implemented this year, primarily at the middle school, with some really cool class initiatives that will be tied to that, and then even a capstone and end of year presentations that'll happen from these kiddos. And what's great about it is it's teaching more life skills. It's more about the total student, not just facts, but also helping prepare them for life and doing it on an educational journey. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to end up doing with that. We also went through new orientation with our teachers. That's happening now, and they're getting paired up with veteran teachers. So you've got continuity, friendship, and collaboration happening to bring those new teachers along, really get them into our district, get them excited, and get them, powering through right away from day one. One thing she did report on is on our transportation program. As you know, we're still working with a consortium. That means Arrowhead and the other feeder districts have grouped together to create a transportation program that then contracted with Dousman to provide bus services. The problem is the contract from Dousman is on a different cycle than the consortium contract. What that means is when we want to make changes as an independent district, it's really difficult. So we're going to bring that up at the meeting on Thursday night. I'll talk about that more later. There's a district-wide assembly happening of all the different boards, and we're going to bring that up as a point that we would like to talk about as well. So we'll see what happens there. And families, one important thing to note. Registration is happening now, and there was a new Google release that required parents to opt into Google services. Now, keep in mind, if you already registered and didn't do this, call the office. But if you didn't register yet, you have to check the box for the Google services to be used with your child. If you do not, unfortunately, they cannot be assigned a Chromebook or use any of the other digital services that are provided by Google. And there are a lot, like Google Drive and a lot of the other programs that are driven through Google. So please make sure you're doing that. Then our business manager gave a report on the district financials. And again, I've got good news. We're in good shape. We've been able to do a lot of updates to all three buildings, from cosmetic to functional and proactive, over the last year. without having to dip into our Fund 46 account. Now, what is that? That is a capital project account that can only be used for capital projects. So far, we've been able to make a lot of improvements and touch all the schools, do major things, and not have to dip into that account. And we've been able to do it out of our operating budget. So my hat's off to the administration, the business team, and the board for making good, fiscally responsible decisions over the last couple of years. So thank you for that. We did get the additional revenue approval from the state, from the governor. Remember that veto line he did, giving $325 more per student. The problem is, unfortunately, that designation did not come with a funding source. What does that mean? That means the state is unfortunately not going to provide any of that $325. So where does it fall? On you. That means if we tax to the full authority, if the budget needs it, all of that additional funding will come from our local taxpayers. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. And that's why the board, and at least what I'll do, is take a very good look at the upcoming budget to make sure that we are being as financially responsible as possible so that if we don't need to tax to the full authority, we don't. And if we do, we do. The good news is it opens up a little bit more flexibility for schools to be able to fund their programs because there are no inflationary adjustments. So before you get too excited about maybe taxes, keep in mind, schools are not given inflationary adjustments in their budget. We're not. And so that little bit of extra money does help considerably when you're looking at the total operational costs and increases in general across a district. So again, we're in some really good shape right now. We are also working on a full facilities plan. We had a company come in, Findorf, and they are doing a full facility analysis. Every fixture, every light, every building, every roof. And they will give a full report to the board. And that'll allow us to see what is necessary from a structural point of view, and then we can cross-reference that with board initiatives and administrative recommendations for what's important for kids. And then from there, we can blend those two together and come up with a really nice adapted 10-year facility plan. So again, really good things happening there. Really, really good things. New business, we approved a contract with the Kiel School District. They have an online program, and it's really nice because it provides an alternative learning environment for kids that maybe don't fit in the classroom, and they can remain members of our district. So we keep them as considered enrolled students in Hartland Lakeside, which is good because that's tied to funding, and it gives them an online educational experience and curriculum through the Kiel School program. So again, we approve that unanimously tonight. It gives the administration a lot of flexibility there to work with different kids that really need help that maybe don't fit in a traditional classroom. Sounds great. And now the meetings that are coming up. There's a really important meeting happening this Thursday night. I alluded to it earlier. Thursday night, August 21st at Arrowhead. All the feeder districts are getting together to work and talk with Arrowhead to see about collaboration. I think on the table there will also be consolidation. There's going to be a lot of C's here. But I believe there should be more cooperation and then also conversation. It just worked out. But these are the things our districts really need to be doing is let's talk more. Let's continue to have conversations about how we can work together. Does that mean we all consolidate? Maybe someday. But right now, let's build some structure and some foundation of working together. We're all sending kids to Arrowhead. At least the majority of us are. So we really should be working together so that they can come in at the same level and have consistent policies, behavior, etc. So that meeting's happening Thursday night, the 21st. It is open to the public, but it's called a working session. That means board members and superintendents will talk. We're going to talk through some different topics, see how we can work together. There will be no effective decisions made there. So boards cannot act in this meeting. This is a workshop only, but it gives us the chance to talk together rather than being apart and in silos. So I'm very excited about that. And then the last meeting of note, of course, there's policy and finance coming. Watch our district website for announcements on those dates. But the next big one is our annual meeting for Hartland Lakeside. That's happening on September 22nd at 6:31 p.m. 6:31. That's when it was voted on. So 6:31 p.m. That is the annual meeting of the electors, you, and board members come together to talk about the proposed budget for the upcoming year, and then the public can make recommendations and give guidance to the board on what to do with the budget. The board ultimately will approve or deny the budget in October-ish when we have the full counts for students and expenses, but it gives the opportunity for the public to weigh in. Now, if you found this helpful, please share, like, or let me know if you have any questions. The best place is to reach out to me at my school email address through our website. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. And as always, may God bless you and our entire community.